Blaziken is garbage. Blaziken is bad. Blaziken is super mid. This thing looks really underwhelming. This thing is total dog cuss. Blaziken is horrible. Wow, this Pokemon looks really terrible. As I was playing Blaziken on stream and seeing what's going on Twitter, I'm seeing a lot of this about Blaziken, and I just have to say, stop it. Stop doing that. And I'll tell you why. Jake, your resident content cowboy here, yeehaw, and yes, I did just get out of the shower. That's why my hair is extra poofy right now, so I don't need to hear anyone in the comments talking about how poofy my hair is. I want to talk more about Blaziken, the newest release in Pokemon Unite. I was going to make my classic should you buy video where I go over everything about this Pokemon, I give some of my thoughts on it, and I let you know whether or not you should buy it, but instead, I want to talk a little bit about the response to this Pokemon, and in doing so, I will give my opinion on this Pokemon and whether or not you should pick it up. First of all, we don't actually know how good this Pokemon is. As of right now, this Pokemon has been out for, let me check my watch. Oh, my watch doesn't work because it's not there. Less than 12 hours. So yeah, we're not really sure how good this Pokemon is. Now that being said, you can play a Pokemon for a couple matches and recognize whether or not it is dummy broken perhaps, or maybe extremely underpowered, but if you remember a lot of the releases in Pokemon Unite, people didn't exactly get Dodrio right. There were very few people who even liked it upon release. There were people who liked Scissors release that was very, very underwhelming. When I first played Mewtwo Y, I thought, oh, this isn't as good as Mewtwo X, and boy, I was wrong about that. I really underestimated how easy it was to charge your Mega at that extreme range, and I underestimated how having the ability to charge Mega outside of combat would act and the attack speed. Like, I got Mewtwo Y wrong on my first few playthroughs, and then about 2 or 3 hours later I noticed, oh wow, this thing is actually crazy broken. Now that happened pretty quick, maybe over the course of a gameplay session or so, but there are other Pokemon like Dodrio that took a little while for people to recognize how good these Pokemon were. Obviously, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and there are people who loved Goodra upon release, and I said for the longest time, I hope they buff this Pokemon a lot because it's really falling behind some other defenders, and now finally, Goodra actually feels pretty good. My whole point in saying this is, I think we want to rush to conclusions for a few reasons, which I'll get to here in a second, and I think because of this, we often walk away from a situation, I don't know, we walk away from a situation maybe not giving it its fair time and its fair look, really. We don't actually get to the bottom of what's going on with the Pokemon. It's just a lot of snap judgments. See that? I snapped with both my fingers. Yeah, it's pretty good. First of all, I understand why we saw tweets like the tweets I was talking about earlier, or I understand why I saw people in my chat saying similar things as they saw this Pokemon being played. And I think the biggest reason is that a reasonable opinion, something that hangs out kind of in this middle area right here, really doesn't get any traction at all. However, a tweet or a YouTube thumbnail like, "This is completely broken," now that might get a few clicks, or something saying, "This is the worst Pokemon release of all time." Hey, you're getting some clicks or some retweets right there, or reposts. Reposts. Very sorry, Elon Musk. I will get the vernacular right at some point. And as I said before, we don't really know, but I'll give you my take on Blaziken and why I think we should kind of be happy about it, and it's that Blaziken feels pretty dang good. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's better than people are giving it credit for, but it doesn't feel Mewtwo Y or Zacian levels broken, and we've somehow been accustomed to that level of game-breaking insanity that now all of a sudden we feel like a good release, a really good release that we should be excited about because it doesn't completely bust our game is not good enough. And there are a few people to hold responsible here, so let's get into it. First off, it's your fault. End of the video. Bye. No. But obviously, we all want to see something exciting, something that breaks the norm, something that is, going to change the game or is going to change our perception of something. We want something that gets a reaction from us. So finding out that something is pretty dang good, it doesn't move the needle very much. You know, it doesn't get much of a reaction. So people who click or people who see things, we are all looking for something that kind of breaks that norm. You know, seeing a YouTube thumbnail that says, man, this Pokemon sure is pretty okay. That's just, it's not doing much. We're cruising right past that exit and we are continuing to drive. Now, of course, the next person that we have to blame with something like this is the developer of this game. I believe their name is Timey Studios. Timey Studios has timey and timey again given us Pokemon that are way too broken. And now we've become accustomed to everything coming into the game like Thanos. So now a regular supervillain, we're like, who cares? We already beat Thanos. Like, what is the deal with this right here? And that is an unfortunate, you know, consequence of what's been happening with Mewtwo, Y, X, and Zacian. Now all of a sudden a Pokemon that maybe is actually pretty dang good and pretty strong once you get the hang of it is kind of like, who cares? It's not Mewtwo, so who cares? And now the truth of it is, the really unfortunate part with that is that's kind of fair because Mewtwo Y exists right now and it's still dominating the meta and it's heads and shoulders above every Pokemon inside the game, including Blaziken. So yes, in the sense that you're going to be running into Mewtwo Ys, are you shutting down Mewtwo Ys every single game with this new broken Pokemon that completely counters it? No, you're not. And if that's disappointing, I kind of understand it because the meta is really rough right now. I understand why people are sad that we don't have something to kind of counter this awful meta that we are all playing in currently. I get it. I agree. Mewtwo Y is busted. I wish it was nerfed. In fact, if Mewtwo Y didn't exist and only Mewtwo X existed right now, I think we would think Blaziken's release was so insanely good, but we are comparing it to Mewtwo Y. Mewtwo Y. Why? So that's on Timey Studios. Is it Timey? So I want you all, when you're thinking about Blaziken, just remember this is actually the kind of release we want. Like, pretty dang good, takes some skill to play, which by the way, it takes some skill to play. And then once you get the hang of it, you can kind of do some cool things inside of a match. It has a few moves that feel like really good, maybe too good, like Overheat. The way it can secure things is really incredible. This is the kind of Pokemon release that we would normally be celebrating. We're just accustomed to dealing with Mewtwo. And I think if we can get past that a little bit, even if you think this Pokemon is mid, even if you think it's bad, I think it's a great release for Pokemon Unite. And now the question is whether or not you should buy this Pokemon. Of course not. It's not as good as Mewtwo. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I love you all. And I will... hold on. I'll talk about it here just for 1 second. Do I think you should buy this Pokemon? This Pokemon is skill intensive. The better you are with it, the better you're going to do with it. And of course, that feels reasonable, right? But it's not a Pokemon that you can just, I don't know, hold the A button and do 200,000 damage. No, you're actually going to need to combo your moves and switch into your other stance and blaze kick your enemies over into a wall, knock them up. Then you can use your Overheat, switch back into your stance. If that sounds exciting to you, this is a great Pokemon for you to pick up. If you like just pressing the A button, click that like button, click that subscribe. Thanks for watching what I do here. And you know, I hope your favorite Pokemon gets nerfed pretty soon because this meta is rough, and I think because this meta is rough, we are not excited about a really cool release. I'll be doing more with Blaziken really soon. Super fun release. I really like it. I would recommend, as with most Pokemon, waiting until it is available for coins. You also don't know if this Pokemon could get tuned up or down in the time that it is like kind of just hitting Eos Island, so always be careful with that a little bit. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm happy to hear from you. If you think I'm totally wrong and this Pokemon is abysmal, or I'm totally right, those comments I love the most. But just be cool to each other. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I love you guys, and I will see you all next time. Nerf Mewtwo.